Right, I think we're live. I don't know what the countdown's doing, but yeah, back again with another preview. Got Josh on, BFC Lewis, Jake, and Will from Cobbler's Vlogs. Make sure you go and subscribe to their channel as well. The link is literally in the title. Just click it, and you'll be over there to subscribe. How we doing, lads? You all good?
Yeah, decent.
Here's Larry. I'm good.
Good. But yeah, also everyone in the chat, get your questions down as well. Ask anything for Will or for us Rovers fans as well, and we'll get answered. Obviously, we'll go through predictions and lineups at the end. But yeah, any other questions, just get them in the chat and we'll go through. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Road to 3,000. But yeah, we'll start off with Will. Getting into what was your thoughts on the whole game on the weekend?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. The whole game was a really poor one. We spoke about it, didn't we, before, that the one way to put it was probably a training session for Hull. You know, with Keith Kell going under John Brady, we've always never really we've gone and played a 4-3-3 in most games, and that's what I expected on against Hull. But we decided to completely forget that and go 5 at the back and basically try and play for a draw. Everything was going okay. We didn't have a single ball out of really half, until they scored a wonder goal, and then that was it. Really, plan down the drain, and then we didn't turn up, and they just ran riots around us. And yeah, it just shows the difference in a team that will be in the Championship next season and a team that is fighting to stay in this league. It was honestly just a training session for them. We just did. I don't think we even got the ball at our own half. It was honestly the worst game I've ever seen in this season. But I think it was expected. A very good team, Hull, and I think at least we got a win against Shrewsbury earlier, so it was good. We didn't mind losing, and luckily for us, I think you were the only team to win as well, so it wasn't that bad in terms of results elsewhere. But disappointing. But like I said, league leaders, you're going to expect that, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Big up to the third tier as well. Make sure you go and subscribe to their channel. Also give them a follow on Twitter as well, doing a lot of different content and really good content on the Monday, all things about League One. So yeah, give them a follow and subscribe. Also got Harry Jenkins as well. Evening to you. But yeah, starting off, we'll go with you, Josh. What was your thoughts on Saturday? I said it again, Saturday, on Monday's win over Donny.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good performance. Obviously, it didn't start very well with the old stalwart that is James Coppinger putting it in the net and breaking his own record as the oldest goal scorer against us. But I didn't feel we deserved to concede. We started well. We implemented quite a decent press with McCormack sort of summarising our energy in that game. We were pressing really well. 2 really good finishes by Luke, and we could have probably scored more, but it's another shape change for Joey. Martinez sort of playing as that deeper midfield role, and just someone common in the middle that can pick out passes, not necessarily sideways passes as well. That free ball for the second goal was really good, and someone of his age and of experience you'd thought would panic on the ball a little bit. So I think the likes of Martinez and Zane Walker coming in has sort of made us play that shape and has actually played to our advantage. We got blown away the game before, but when we played teams like Doncaster on a slide since Darren Moore's left, we did punish them, and long may that continue.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, third tier saying best tackle, obviously, about Keane Harris. Literally got the ball and took Taylor Richards off the floor about 5 feet. As well, we got Mackham's Forever says good result for you at the weekend. You think we'll stay up? Hopefully, but I think it'll go down to the wire. But yeah. Next up, Jake, what was your thoughts on the game on the weekend?
I thought we played very well, and it was a complete shift to how we've been over the previous games. You were certainly more consistent. I thought after 10 minutes we went behind. I thought, here we go again. I think I said as much, and people reminded me of that after the game finished. But I think I know McCormick could get all the talk, and rightly so. But as Josh alluded to, Martinez I thought was very, very good. I thought Jack Baldwin probably had his best game of the season so far. And I've said I've stood up for Baldwin quite the way through. I've always said he's been the least worst of the defenders we've had, and I think he really kind of sort of shone out in that game. I know he made the mistake before the goal, but it could have happened to anyone. So I think it was a game where most things went right. And I think the young players that have come in have done well. I think Walker has done a job. I don't think he's looked particularly stellar, but he's only 18, 19. So, but yeah, I think it was one of those games where everyone just kind of it clicked on the weekend. But I hope it just didn't a repeat of like the Accrington and Portsmouth games where you get a good result and then piss it away a few days later. So, just kind of keep your feet on the ground with that one, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Will, are you going to give us a sing along?
You see, if Keith Cole was the manager still, and we were high flying, then I think I would give it a sing song. But considering he left us in the dumps, I think we'll quickly move on.
Yeah, definitely. Lewis, what about you? What was your overall thoughts on the game, and what players sort of stood out for you as well?
I think what I'm going to say now probably contrasts what everyone else said. I think probably that's over the recent games we played. I don't think that's been as good as we played, because I think on the other games we've been so much better. But I think we were definitely more like resolute and stalwart defensively. I think I think a 3 points is accepted any way we win the game. So yeah, long may it continue.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm going to come to Will again. Obviously, you saying about Keith Curl, like how would you sort of sum up? Because it's sort of the same as Rovers. We've had obviously a few managers this season, so have you. But what do you sort of put the blame on? Do you put it on on the board, or is it just the actual managers are poor in general? Or
I think it's a bit of both. Of course, we went up last season for the playoffs, and I'm being totally honest, we were in really bad form before COVID hit, and I think if the season did finish, we wouldn't have finished in the playoffs. But what we had a unique style of play which teams couldn't match, and that's the reason why we went up. We went up and we lost our best player in Charlie Good. He went to Brentford. We then lost Vidane Oliver. We didn't offer him enough money, and Gillingham probably doubled his wages, and he's having a stellar season. We lost Jordan Turnbull. We lost Callum Morton. He went on loan to Lincoln. We lost a lot of key players, and the players we brought in on paper were good, but in reality are not very good. And I think Keith Cole tried his best, but he just didn't have it. I'm surprised he got sacked as early as he did, but yeah, I think we lost a lot of key players, didn't recruit that well. Results didn't really go our way. Our football didn't really work against the teams like Hull City, and yeah, we didn't really, every win we got under Keith Cole wasn't a controlling win. It was a scrappy 1-0 really. But I think John Brady's done fantastically well in what he's done, and I think the board will. I don't think the board will accept some relegation if we do go down, but I don't think they'll be too disheartened if we do go down, because we haven't got the quality to stay in this league, and if we do stay up, then fair play. But yeah, I think it's been a tough ride. But yeah, I think losing the key players didn't help, and replacing them with players who are apparently good for League One but clearly aren't.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's sort of the same with us. I think us as well. We got rid of quite a few key players in the summer, like Craig Lindsay. Obviously, he went to you and then left. And Surcombe as well was a big miss, sort of goal scoring midfielder. And yeah, like obviously Craig was the massive one, but like you said with you, Morton was doing really well for you as well. And like you said, there was a big clear out, wasn't there, in the summer? So many players coming in.
Yeah, it was terrible. Like Vidane Oliver, when we signed it was a 1-year deal, because to be honest, Vidane Oliver's recent history was awful. So a 1-year deal was fair. He just had such a good season, and Gillingham probably offered him double the wages. With Callum Morton, we tried to get him back on loan. The club did say they did, but Michael Apperton used to be the West Brom academy manager or something, so the link there got the move, which was very frustrating. Again, a few other players left, like Jordan Turnbull. He didn't come up with us because Keith Cole said he wanted more money or something nonsense. And yeah, we lost a lot of key players. And touching on Chris Lyons, of course, he left in January, had a big falling out with Keith Cole. They just didn't get on. And of course, Keith Cole's football is hoofball, so the midfielders are non-existent. And Chris Lyons, of course, is the ball playing midfielder. And again, the move to Stevenage was always a good move for him, and we wish him well. But Yeah, recruitment wasn't good, and losing the key players didn't help. Verdane Oliver and Callum Morton led our line and were so good last season. And how good Verdane Oliver's been this season. If we had him, would we be in this position now? I think we'd be a mid-table team and probably not looking down, trying to stay up. But who can tell?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's crazy with him how he obviously left you on a free, but like you said as well, his record was awful before Northampton, and now I think he's got 16 goals this season, or maybe even more than that, which is crazy. But yeah, obviously going back with you, Josh, if there was any sort of negatives out of the weekend. I know it's quite hard to pull out the negatives because it was a pretty good performance, but what would you say, was a negative?
Game management side of things again, making it hard for yourself when you're in the lead or whether you conceded the goal. It's just seeing certain phases of play out. But I know Baldwin slipped for their goal, but there's certain ways in which we line up on set pieces and stuff which still scares the life out of me. The fact Yakola's back in goal sort of steadies that ship because he will come out and command his area, unlike the Joe Days and the Geordies. But yeah, if there's a negative, I'd say it's still the game management aspect and the fact that we could score a goal then concede one pretty rapidly. Or vice versa. So if we can cut out those sort of silly mistakes and get better at that side of things, I know it took 37 games for us to keep going on and on and on and on and on and on about the same thing, but you still see it each game, and it's going to take maybe Joey Barr in the summer to get his own faces in to eradicate that. But yeah, game management side for me.
Yeah, definitely. Jake, what about you? Have you got any sort of different negatives or things that we have to work on?
Well, as Josh said, the issues are still there. Like, so our defending at times can be at times it's been most of the season it's been non-existent. Down the channels. I will say the formation that we fly going around there. I will say the formation we've been playing the last couple of games has left us even more exposed. It was a sign there. It's left us more exposed down the flanks than probably all season, and we've always struggled more so down the left hand side. I do think we've looked more steadied since Williams has come in, but as Josh said, it's not going to be a quick fix. I think we might just have enough in the tank. I think we do have enough in the tank to just get over the line. But it's going to need a lot of shaping over the summer, and I think a settled formation as well. And Barton's still learning. I mean, I know he would have been in charge of 15 games, but he's not at a transfer window. So we'll see. But yeah, it's just obviously little negatives. But when you win a game like that, I don't know. I think we beat Northampton earlier in the season, I think. Yeah, so we'll see. It's wasn't a perfect game on Friday, but wins all that matters at this point in the season.
Yeah, definitely. Lewis, what about you? Have you got any other different aspects you've seen from that game that you think we need to work on, or certain tactics within the performance?
Well, I definitely think we play the better one up front and having players like Westbrook, Walker, or like McCormick in behind him, and then just building on what Josh and Jake said, just we've got to eradicate them stupid mistakes. I let Baldwin off for that because he put a stellar performance in afterwards. But I mean, when Upson gave the ball straight to their player and they go score that offside goal,
yeah,
just cut out some stupid mistakes, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean Upson. I've said it for a while. I don't know how. I think he's 32, but he seems to be playing like he's past it. Just like you said, giving that pass was criminal. And to be honest with you, I don't even think it was offside. Really, I think that goal should have stood. So we got away with that. And Upson, I think I was speaking to a Rovers fan the other day.
Goal.
Apparently,
our second goal was offside. Hanlon was right on his toes, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true. It could have been another Swindon, when he was scored. Yeah, but luckily it wasn't. But yeah, I was speaking to someone the other day. Apparently, Upson's contract is up in the summer, so he'll definitely be going. I don't see how he gets another deal. He's probably on a lot of money as well. You know, he's been at some decent clubs. He's had a pretty good career, but I think his time in even in League One is over. I think he's just not good enough. But I want to go into a sort of different aspect. We come with Will first. How many? I know this is obviously going to put you on the spot, but out of your remaining games, how many points do you see Northampton getting?
Well, let me get the fixtures. So we've got, the game on Saturday. We've still got to play the likes of Peterborough and Sunderland as well. We've got Gillingham and Blackpool, which games we could get points off. So, 18 points to play for. Realistically, looking at the fixtures right now, I can't see us beating Peterborough. I can't see us beating Sunderland. If we're lucky, we'll beat you. I think maybe we got a 0-0 against Ipswich. I think Gillingham, we did beat them under Keith Curle, but I think they've done a lot better. They were a lot poorer then. So if I'm being honest, out of the last 18 points, I think I'd happily take 6. Or of course I want more, but I can't see us getting any more. I think it's going to be a real struggle. But then again, we do play better against a good side, so we could scrape a scrappy 1-0 win against Peterborough or Sunderland. Again, Ipswich are kind of up and down, really, so it depends what team turn up, and we could get 3 points there. But yeah, we've got a tough run in. Again, the game on Saturday is a massive game, and that will really determine where both teams are kind of going to be. If we win on Saturday, we're 5 points clear from you. If you win, you're above us by a point, and that puts us in the drop. So it's all to play for on Saturday. But yeah, these next few games are going to be real tough. But if we can just scrape a couple of points maybe here and there, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, me and Josh were talking about your running and other teams running. Like yours is got to be the toughest on paper. Blackpool, Gillingham have only lost once in like 10, 11 games, and obviously Sunderland and Peterborough is pretty. I mean, us as well. I'm going to get over our, see what we're doing. Charlie Webb puts a comment in. Is there going to be a live stream this week? I'm not sure because I didn't live stream this week and we won, so I might not live stream again. But yeah, I'll probably do one. Rob in the chat has obviously got some hate for Northampton, a Coventry fan. He said, "Oh, come on, I want to see Northampton relegated." I mean,
we were there when Coventry needed a stadium. We were there to lend our stadium for 2 years. So I think we deserve the right to be happy with the Coventry fans. They were going bust, and Cobblers lent them the stadium for 2 years to play on a Sunday. So yeah, I think it should be nicer to Northampton. We lent them a lovely stadium.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, like you said, otherwise Coventry were pretty much, in the mud, if you want to say it. But we go with Josh. How many points do you see us getting from our next 6?
I think you've got to look at the sort of Northampton, the Lincoln game at home, the MK Dons game, and the Crewe game. If we can get 9 points out of those 12, I think that would be a pretty good return for us. But yeah, a massive emphasis on Saturday, and we keep billing these up, but this is the biggest game of Rovers season. And we just got to do what we haven't done and follow it up with another win and beat a side that's in and around us. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, like you said, I was seeing our stats this season, our results. We've only got back-to-back wins twice all season, so we need to hopefully make it a third. But it's it's the same for both teams. Like we've all said, it is like literally the biggest game for us since Dagenham at home, where we had to win to get automatically promoted. Jake, what about you? I want to get your thoughts. How many, your opinion? How many points do you see us getting?
Oh dear. Obviously, in an ideal world, I think when people always say to get about 50 points, the Rovers need to win 4 if there are many games at least. I think but I think realistically, I think Rovers will be looking at. I've got them in front of me now. I reckon 8 points or so. Looking at that. Fingers crossed, beat Northampton, Lincoln, don't know if we'll get anything there. MK Don should have nothing to play for. Portsmouth would be difficult. Hopefully beat Crewe because their season will probably be over by then, and then Blackpool, who knows? So it's going to be hard. I think 8 points will be very touch and go to keep us up in the division. So Rovers, I think, need to be looking for at least 3 wins out of the last 6. But you've got to be sadly, you've got to be realistic. But sort of, I know we all want to see sort of decent football, but right now, as long as Rovers get the points, I think any of the teams in the bottom 6, as long as they get the points, it could be a goal off of someone's backside. As long as they get the goals and points instead, I don't think anyone cares. I think people are past the point of how you play. It's just getting a result. So it is going to be hard. I mean, there's a lot of teams that have got a good run, like Northampton. You said got a tough run. But Rovers always make a pig zero out of the teams that are in and around us. So. This is such a cliche thing. It's anyone's guess, I think. But I think 8 points is probably a realistic outlook, I think, for me.
Yeah, definitely. Lewis, what about you? What's your thoughts on our remaining 6 games? How many points do you see us getting, and how many points do you reckon will be enough to stay up?
I think in previous seasons it's been around about 45. I think this year probably around about 42, 43 be able to keep us up. I think because if you look at the running the other teams have, I think we've been kind of lucky, if you could say. We obviously still got some hard teams in there, but I think we can. Except for Lincoln, I see us winning all our home games, and maybe say if we beat Northampton, I can definitely see us beating someone like Lincoln. But teams like Blackpool and Portsmouth, Portsmouth since Cowley's come in, they've been a different team, and Blackpool they rarely concede, and I think they're unbeaten at home at the moment in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they haven't lost since October at home, Blackpool. So yeah, I don't really want to be going into Blackpool, even though we have actually got a pretty good record against Blackpool. I think going there when they're on fire, and they'll probably be, needing maybe a point or maybe even a win, depending on form, because they've still got games in hand. I think they've got to play every Tuesday now as well, because they've still got a lot of games in hand. But yeah, that's fair enough. Obviously, Mark said we need 12 points minimum. I think 4 wins it's gonna be hard. I mean, even the teams we think we should win, it's still going to be tough. It's probably knowing Rovers going to go, especially knowing Rovers going to go down to the final day, and you've also got Swindon and Wigan on the final day. That is going to be insane. But yeah, obviously it's going to be a little bit shorter this week. We're going to go on to lineups for both teams. What teams, what you want to see? We go to Jake first.
Oh, you had to come to me first, didn't you?
I don't know if you've been thinking about it.
No, I have. And to prepare myself, I've actually got the previous lineup in front of me because there isn't really much that I changed. So, because I can't remember who played, I've had to have it, in text in front of me. My memory's so well, I can barely see. So, obviously, keep the keeper the same, and I'd keep the back three the same of Williams, Baldwin, and Harries. If fit, I'm not really a fan of chucking players back in, but I would put Rodman in for Walker. I just don't want to sort of so I want to say burn Walker out, but it's a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, I think. But I would keep Martinez in the midfield as well. He's really adapted to that role quite well. I think the lads on Gascast said this the other day that for the whole sort of idea of Rovers at the moment is to focus around youth. And you had 2 young players who have never featured all season, and it gets to this point, which just sort of begs the question: what was actually going on? But I'd keep this on the way there. I keep the Welsh Pablo in there. I would keep Upson in there. I know Grant's back, but I think this is the type of running that Upson needs to be in there. He's been through that sort of experience, sort of in these big crunch games. He's had that throughout his career. McCormick has to carry on in that midfield. It's not even a debate.
Easily,
easy. I mean, he could be that difference that keeps us up. Who knows? I mean, those 2 goals could be enough. There's no telling what could happen. Leahy would obviously stick out on the left hand side. Westbrook, I think, has really come on leaps and bounds since Barton's come in, but I do think that's really down to Barton. Really, I think he's just been played in his proper position. And I do kind of think Hanlon. It's a bit of a toss up between Ayunga and Hanlon, because I think Hanlon had a decent game on the weekend. It wasn't brilliant. He didn't score anything, but he made things happen a little bit more. I think he must have read my tweet during the other game we had the other day, where I said I got better balance than he has. I think he must have taken that to heart or something, because he stayed on his feet there quite a lot more. But yeah, so I think he should get the run in. I do feel a bit sorry for Ayunga, because his momentum that he had is completely crashed. I do feel sorry for him, but I think Hanlon should keep it going, and fingers crossed it'd be enough to get past Northampton. But there's no telling at the moment. I don't think. I mean, there probably has been, but I think when you're not in that position, you don't tend to look at the bottom end of the table when you're nowhere near it. But to have 6 teams that could all practically finish anywhere in the bottom 6 with between 6 to 8 games to go. I mean, without wishing to sound horrible, Rovers or Northampton could finish bottom without how poor it could go. But it's one of those seasons, and I think it's almost worse that fans aren't there, because you can't sort of egg the team on. It's all kind of, you're all stuck, like you're stuck in a bubble, aren't you? So that's the lineup I go with, plus some other bits. So I think that's the team I'd go with for Saturday. Yeah,
that's fair enough. But yeah, like you said, it's literally the worst thing. Like even on Monday, I was there. Like when it was the last 10 minutes, I was so nervous, and you almost want to be there to, like you said, cheer him on. But yeah, we also got Luke in as well. Turton Talks Football. I'll be honest thing later on as well. He's doing like a League One based stream with like a lot of the games. Also, Alyssa, thanks for tuning in. Lewis, we'll go with you next. What's your what lineup would you have on Saturday?
Well, I'm definitely the person that says you don't change a winning team, but with the likes of like Grant, Rodman, and obviously Kilgore coming back into contention, I don't think it's Walker's game. I don't think it suits him. I think it's going to be quite an ugly game. It's definitely not going to be like a box office game. But yeah, I'd probably put Grant in for Walker, and probably play McCormack up behind Hanlon, because I think Hanlon's touch has looked a bit sharper, and he's looked a bit sharper himself and improved. I think maybe that's down to the fact that they had longer times to train and stuff in the week. But yeah, I'll probably just keep it as it is, and maybe Kilgore come back into it. But off of the defense's performance last Monday, I thought it was right, except for Baldwin's mistake. But yeah, apart from that, quite resolute. But yeah, definitely granted for Walker.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Josh, what about you? Would you make any changes, or would you keep the same team?
I think, like what Lewis and Jake said, I'd bring Rodman in for Walker if he's fully fit, and I would probably play Grant instead of Upson. But apart from that, I think Hanlon's game sort of came to. We've all been sort of doubting him and saying he don't score enough goals, and rightly so, criticising him. But we've seen that side of his game that we've all been crying out for on Monday, where he was doing tireless running off the ball, holding the ball up, playing others into play, and that's what we haven't saw for a while. And then you've got the likes of Ayunga to come on and influence the game, further along into the actual game, which I think will probably be suiting us down to the ground, really. That central striker with the two off of them, with like Westbrook in behind, where it was Walker on one side on Monday. But I think Rodman just gives you that work rate up and down. He can cut in on his left foot. He's also quite steady on his feet when we're our backs are against the wall. So yeah, I bring in Rodman for Walker. No fault of Walker. I think he's done everything he can. As someone his age and his experience, I think he's done brilliantly. Like Jake said, he hasn't sort of set the world alight, but he's had some key sort of touches in key areas, and he's part of that move to get us our our second goal with Martinez. And, you know, he's an unknown entity, really. A lot of defenders don't know how to sort of work him out yet, and he's been sort of gliding past players and getting in key areas. Yeah, and I take Westbrook off set pieces.
Yeah, trust me, there was like it was literally three in a row, wasn't it, on Monday, where he was on the free kick and he's just gone out of play. It was, I mean, obviously that was shocking, but apart from that, he was obviously really good, got the assist. But yeah, I'd take him off set pieces for sure. Will, what about you? What lineup would you play for Northampton on Saturday?
Yeah, like I said, with the whole game, of course, the Cobblers went to a 5-back and it didn't really work. So I can see us go back to the 4-3-3, which has worked under Brady. I can see the same kind of Mitchell starting in goal. The back four we've always played with under Brady, Kyoso, Horsfall, Jones and Mills. Ryan Watson is the attacking midfielder. Of course, 8 goals. He's on fire at the moment, and I'm sure he'll be continuing that. I'm sure he'll probably grab a goal on Saturday. I would say McWilliams and Morris is basically sitting, and then the front three of Hoskins, Rose and Marshall. A lot of goals and assists between them, but whether they can do it will be another question. But yeah, I think it's going to be a real tough game. You know, we've got players who can do it. You know, like I said, Ryan Watson's on fire form at the moment, and we hope he can carry that on. You know, Sam Hoskins as well. He's on 6 goals, 5 assists. So he's another player. Mark Marshall, he's on 7 assists this season. Very up and down. You don't know whether you're going to get a prime Mark Marshall or not very good Mark Marshall. So it'll be interesting to see what we do. You know, sometimes we've gone to a diamond with Edmondson and Rose up top with a 4-4-2 diamond. So who knows what we're going to play? Maybe we might even play a 5-back against you guys. Who knows? But I think it'd be silly I think we'll probably stick with the 4-3-3, do what we know. And I just think it'll be a really entertaining game on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, obviously, I mean, my lineup, I'd only make one change. I've seen a lot of people, obviously, a lot of you have said you'd bring Rodman back. I just wouldn't rush him back. I know it's the sort of game for him, experienced head, but it's the fact that he's been out for a while. You know, he's sort of getting to that age where you don't really, I know he's a good player, but I don't really want to rush him back. And then he gets injured and misses the whole, rest of the season, because I think he'll be needed. I think I'd start Walker, but maybe sort of 50 minutes, if depending on how we're doing, if we're, 1-0 up or something, or it's tight, then I'd bring on Rodman. But one change would be Grant. Josh Grant, definitely bring him back in. Upson, I don't want to really see him play much more for Rovers this season. I think he's just a liability. Just 1 minute it'll look good, the other minute, like we've seen on the weekend, he'll just do some stupid pass where they nearly go and score. So yeah, one change for me. Now getting into the predictions. Go with you, Jake. What are you saying, prediction-wise?
Obviously, heart is saying a Rovers win, but my head is it's got the feeling it's going to be one of those absolutely bore-fest. So I'm going to go 0-0. I think I hate to predict a 0-0. I hate to predict a 0-0 because Northampton, I've seen they seem to have problems scoring goals like we do, and I think they're the lowest scorers in the division. Looking at this here, and for a team that's in the bottom 6, their defense isn't that bad. Consider, I know they shipped 3 against Hull, but I think it'd just be 0-0. I think both teams would be nervous as piss to try anything, and I can just see the lay of the land. I mean, a draw does nothing for either team, so it'd probably either be a 0-0 or it could be a 3-2. I think it's going to be a tough one, but I'm going to stick to my guns and go a 0-0.
0-0. Oh wow, we got Matt's as well. Matt says 2-2. Swans.
If it's anything like the 2-2, I think when Northampton if Northampton won, they'd have won the league that game, and I think they drew.
Yeah.
That was an absolutely cracking game. That was a cracking game of football. Just a brilliant game of football. Great game.
I think it was Matty Taylor and Ellis Harrison. Matty Taylor done that naughty little flick, didn't he? Like the back heel.
Yeah. Oh, we were so good that season. Honestly, that season was like under Wilder. We had players who weren't good at football. We just had like a bold midfielder, Jason Taylor, who would just be scrappy, and that season, everything was just perfect. We had players who could just do stuff amazingly, but we'd also have players who would just be no nonsense, it was just, that season was amazing. But yeah, that game against you guys to go get promoted and then you just ruin the day was not very nice.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Like it was right at the last minute when it Swans away day says 1-0 Rovers, ex-Swansea player Kean Harris to score. I wouldn't mind that. I don't think he's scored for us yet, has he, Kean Harris?
No.
He's still waiting to score. So yeah, I'd take a 92nd minute winner from Harry's any day. Mark says 2-0 Rovers. Josh, you next. What are you predicting?
Oh, no, it's not going to be the 6-0 we had the other year, but
Let's hope.
no offense to Will, but the home game, I'd say Northampton were probably the poorest side I've seen Rovers play. I know they've improved since, but I think it's going to be 2-1, but either way. So, I think either we're going to be 1-1 and both teams are chasing and either one's going to nick it, and it's just going to be one of those painful games where one team suffers in the end because it's got so much riding on it. I could just see it being that kind of game.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. What about goal scorers quickly? Who do you reckon's going to score for Rovers?
I think the way in which we're playing at the moment, and Maka sort of becomes that spare man, and he seems to pop up in the right places. It wouldn't surprise me if he got one of the goals, and maybe maybe it is going to be a Harry's or a Baldwin from a set piece, or a Handon's going to finally break his start again. But yeah, I can see Maka popping up, with Westbrook opening up those spaces and him just popping in. I can see him getting a goal. And I don't really care, to be honest, as long as we win. And Northampton don't.
Yeah, definitely. Giacomo Licata says, how important is this game for Bristol Rovers Football Club? Need a win. Yeah, exactly. It's massive. Like we said at the start, it's biggest game since Dagenham at home. And obviously this is to stay in the league. So yeah, it's massive. Lewis, what about you? What are you going for?
Well, in the last 5 games, there's been 23 goals between the two teams. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. If anything, it'd be like a chess game of people trying to throw themselves into the game. And I think it will be a scrappy goal. And if anything, it will be a 2-0 Rovers, I think. But they are good from set pieces, and they score the majority of their goals to set pieces, and we can't defend set pieces. So I think if we can defend our area as well, I think we can win it. And I think Hanlon is due a goal. And I think they're coming into this game with kind of boilerplate form. And I think everything's riding on this, and we've cracked under pressure a few times against teams around us. So I think that this is the time we will be a team around us by 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a must. I mean, we need to do it. Got a question for you, Will. From Melissa. She says, if you're able to keep Callum Morton for the season, do you think Northampton would be in a better position?
Yeah, 100%. I think when, like you said, he joined us on loan in January, and I think I don't know how many exactly. He got 5, 6, or 7 maybe, but I think if we had him on loan this season, I know he's had a massive injury at Lincoln, which has kept him out for a while. But I do think if we had him and Verde and Oliver, they were such an iconic duo together, because Verde and Oliver would win everything in the air and Morton would be that poacher. I do think Callum Morton would have got us 15 goals, and I don't think we would be like the team that struggled to score goals. I think we would have just, Verde and Oliver and Morton complemented each other so well. We would have been a team that would have been a threat going forward, and I don't think we would have been in this position. I don't think we would have been good. I think we would have just been that mid-table team that weren't looking down at this, this group of 6, this 6 group of death, really. But yeah, no, I do think if we did have him, it would have been a completely different story.
Yeah, definitely. He, like you said, him and Oliver were class, and I watched the playoff final. I think Morton scored that game, and he was class. I mean, I watched both of the other games when you played. Did you play Cheltenham? Won it in the semi?
Yeah.
He was quality, and like obviously we had Garner as well, so Garner was at West Brom as well. So I really wanted us to sign Morton as well, but yeah, it didn't work out that way. But yeah, what score would you give for this game, Will? What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, let's say first and foremost, let's hope it's not a 6-0. For some reason, we always seem to lose 5 or 6-0 away from home. But no, on Saturday, it's gonna, like we've said the whole time, it's such an important game for both teams. It really does decide the season. And I think, as well, they say about the magic 50 to stay up. I don't think this season it will be that. I think it'll be around 45, 44, and a couple of wins will do it. But again, those wins are so important and so valuable. It depends on the Northampton team that turn up, and I guess it's the exact same for you. We're both in the same position. It's about who turns up on the day, who's willing to experiment. I agree with Jake that it really could be a 0-0. Both teams could be really scared and not really try anything. But I would love Northampton to scrape a 1-0 win. And I've got to be optimistic. I'm going to say the Cobblers are going to scrape a 1-0 win. It's going to be from a corner. And I just think we've got enough to hold on, and we'll probably just go 5 at the back for the last 10 minutes. I think we have to be optimistic because it will be such an important game. But I really hope it's not a bore 0-0 because it can happen. Both teams can be scared and both teams won't want to experiment, and it could happen. And I don't want it to be a bore 0-0. I want us going at least fighting. But I do think it'll be a very close game. And I just really hope we come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, with me, I'm actually, obviously, like we said, the last 3 or 4 meetings we've played, there's been a lot of goals. Obviously, the other game finished 2-0. Hanlon and Baldwin scored, and like you said, we had that. There was a thing on Twitter earlier. We had the 5-0 home win when we had Matty Taylor, Bowden, Ellis Harrison hat trick somehow. Then obviously we had I'm pretty sure the same season it was 6-0 away as well.
Yeah, that season was absolutely horrible. But touching on the 2-0 defeat, I looked at the lineup, and a lot of the players who played that game are not even really involved anymore, or just don't play much football. And yeah, that 2-0 game, we were so bad. We got a player sent off as well. I don't think he plays for us anymore. Joe Martin, he was the worst defender to ever wear a Northampton shirt. He was
Joe Martin is shocking.
I don't know. Oh, he was terrible. But yeah, that 2-0 defeat was horrible. You fully deserved it, and let's hope it doesn't happen on Saturday.
Yeah, but yeah, Joe Martin, we had him as well. He was, I mean, apart from an absolute worldie, he scored at Charlton. He was absolutely shocked. He was shocked.
I think he got sent off on his debut as well. I think his debut was Shrewsbury away. I think he got sent off.
Shrewsbury away. Yeah, he was terrible. Mark says
he's gone back to Stevenage now, I think.
He's doing well at Stevenage, and good on him. But he was terrible.
Yeah, he was bad because it was Kean Bolger, didn't he? He was at Rovers. He gave the penalty as well. Hanlon just turned him inside out, and Bolger took him out. And yeah, it should be interesting. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he doesn't play for you a lot, does he, Bolger?
Yeah, since the worst captain to ever captain the team, and as soon as Keith Curle got sacked, he's just been benched. He was out the team for quite a while, to be fair, and now he just sits on the bench. He honestly, he's just, we brought him in. It was such a good signing. He had a great season at Lincoln, and I was like very, very good replacement for Charlie Good. We're not as, Charlie Good was fantastic, but it was a good replacement for him. But he's been terrible this season, and he's only got a 1-year deal. I don't see him staying longer. I just don't think it's worked out for him, and I don't think he'll play. To be honest, I just can't see him playing. But yeah, I think his time's probably up at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Mark says great to have an opposition fan on. Basically, obviously, I've been trying to do that. Obviously, I had 18 Dapper on from Donny as well, and that's what I'm trying to do. Hopefully, Lincoln, I haven't sorted out anyone yet, but I got 4-0 written all over it coming on as well for Pompey. But yeah, I mean, it's something good to do. Just interact with other fans, get their opinions on. I met a lot of good people this year, just being on other channels and interacting. So yeah, I thought it'd be a good idea to get away fans on as well. Charlotte says, big up Charlie, big up to you. Chelsea fan, go and subscribe to her channel as well. But my prediction, I'm gonna go 3-1 Rovers. I mean, 3-1 Rovers. I think Hoskins will score for Northampton. And Rovers, I'm going to go for two of the same scorers as last game. Baldwin to get a header from a set piece. He was close against Donny as well. Hanlon to break his little duck. He hadn't scored since Shrewsbury. And it's got to be McCormick again. He's on a roll. Three goals in 2 games. So, yeah, I'm going to go for him as well. But, yeah, what's it? Matt's also's got his lineup as well. Nicola Williams, Baldwin, Harries, Lee, Martinez. I play a younger and Hanlon. Interesting. I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting because hopefully, like we've all said, Rovers, you'd expect to keep the same lineup, but obviously we got the Kilgore, Rodman, and Grant coming back, so it should be interesting. But yeah, we're going to end it here. Appreciate Will for coming on. Obviously, the link, like I said at the start, for Cobbler's Vlogs is in the title, so go and subscribe to them. Big up to Lewis, Jake, and Josh for coming on as always. And yeah, see you in the next one. Obviously, I'll be on Cobbler's Vlogs live after as well. If you want to watch that, feel free to. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Like, subscribe as always, and we'll see you in the next one. Up the gas.
Up the gas.
Yeah.